Okay, I think it's recording. This is my first time trying to record. Okay, yes, it says recording. Okay,
Yeah.
hey guys. So originally, Dimitri and I, the founder of Buddha Bullying, started B2B1on1 series before this global pandemic, and we started in a studio. We were really excited about it. The feedback was amazing, and due to quarantine, I've decided to continue on with it virtually. And today we have one of my dear friends, incredible actress, philanthropist, Buddha Bullying ambassador, and someone I like truly look up to and admire so much. Maya Stojan here, and I just can't wait to have a little chat with you and get real.
Yay. I'm so excited and thank you so much for having me on. Can I call it a show? Can I call it
Sure,
a,
sure. I
yeah,
don't know what it is just yet. I think we're going to actually move it to Instagram now because it's just easiest for
for sure.
everyone going through. I feel like it's most accessible. So,
Yeah, but this is such a great idea. And just to keep us all connected and feel like we're all in this together, it's brilliant. Well done.
exactly. So, yeah, feel free to just, I mean, I've had my friend Lindsay on this, Lindsay Shaw. I was telling you, and you know
And
Lindsay.
my
Oh, wait,
friend,
your
we
friend.
worked
I
twice together.
completely forgot about that. That's right. And she like adores you. How did I forget
I
that?
adore her. She's hilarious and
That's so
so
crazy.
charming and wonderful.
Yeah. So she's been on, and Swade Brooks, another ambassador. And I actually yeah, I mean, Lindsay was sweating at the beginning. We were crying. I can't hug you, but I can virtually hug you. So whatever you got to do, or if you want me to stop at any point and you just want to like regroup and want me to ask you the next question, perfectly fine. But
Love.
I figured just to start, since you are a Buddha Bullying ambassador, I wanted to ask if you can give everyone a bit of a background as to why it's important for you to help us tackle bullying, and have you ever been bullied?
First of all, I think the work you do is so important. I truly wish there were people like you back when I was, not just in primary school, middle school, high school, but just throughout my life. I still need it now. And it's incredible that you guys do the work that you do. And
Well, you're a part of it. You're doing the work too.
thanks. I appreciate that. And yes, I mean, I think it's important to let, children and adults know that it's a common thing to be bullied,
Right.
unfortunately. And it happens, I would say, to most of us in some way, shape, or form. And yes, I have been bullied, and um I've been bullied on different levels. And I think one that maybe I can talk about today is I remember in middle school just feeling very alone. And I had one really solid friend, but I felt very much hated by the rest of the school. And I remember mostly I felt hated, and I think it was just rumors started
Right.
happening just about me being, overtly sexual with people, which I wasn't. I was a child. But that was just the rumors that started spreading. And uh, yeah, I felt very
I
alone.
mean,
And
yeah, I feel like you're just a very mature person, and I can see you being young and being mature, and people taking that the wrong way. And you're also very beautiful, and people like to shame that. And I don't. It's very frustrating because, what with it's just silly because that there's no correlation between being outgoing or beautiful or whatever it may be, which I know that you are all those things and so much more, to being overly sexual or like it's just and nowadays we see it so much with cyberbullying, the slut shaming, and I just think bullying doesn't discriminate, so there's always going to be reasons for different people being bullied. And it's frustrating because you hear these stories of really beautiful girls in middle school and whatnot getting this slut shaming and this cyberbullying happening to them. And I almost feel like people don't care as much, and they don't, it's like, oh, like you're just pitying yourself. Like, oh, because like you're pretty and you were called a slut. Like people don't understand the effects of words at all. They're like, I mean,
no, sure.
not, like, words hurt, period, no matter who you are. It does not discriminate. Or they're getting bullied because they have a disease. And you're like, I understand that. And every single person, like no one deserves to be bullied, but like I do see this recurring thing with really physically beautiful
Well,
girls,
I
and people like,
certainly didn't see myself as a beautiful girl back then. No,
virtually smacking it.
actually, but it was interesting. Just right. It doesn't matter for what reason. I still felt very alone, and I felt very hated, and I had "fuck you" written, "fuck you, Maya," all written all over my school on a big wall,
Gosh.
all the way on my walk home that I would walk home to. It was written on benches, on the floor, "fuck you, Maya," and it was really quite traumatizing.
Middle school. It blows my mind. You know, it
And in
starts so
Switzerland,
young.
you wouldn't necessarily think. You would think maybe, it's just interesting that it's all over the world. It's not just America.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yep,
And
everywhere.
right, and I think the work that you do is beautiful too, because I think I told you before we got on. I just recently on Instagram had this comment of seriously question mark question mark, you look like a whore. and and my first reaction, first of all, I care, and I'm no longer going to pretend like I don't care. And
Right.
that's one thing my mom always used to say. She was like, I just worry about you because you care too much. You care so much about what other people think of you. And I mean, my mom's my best friend. She's amazing. And I understand what she's trying to say, but I'm done pretending like I don't care.
No. Being vulnerable and caring, like everyone cares. So either you're caring and you're talking about it, or you're caring and it's staying inside. That's my opinion. That's why,
Exactly.
like, vulnerability, all that means to me is that you're showing your feelings. Whereas other people who aren't showing their feelings are considered whatever they may be considered, not vulnerable and tough or whatever. But it's like, no, because you're dealing with your shit. You're just not confronting it or talking about it or sharing with anybody. And I'm totally with you, because I am so, like, I am a very sensitive person, and I love that about myself. You know, like brushing things aside and like bubbling, letting them bottle up though, like, it makes you feel so alone. And I really think there is nothing in the world worse than feeling alone. And even when I just went to do that Unleash campaign, that was one of my words. And they were like, what? Like, we would never think you'd choose that word because you're so outgoing and like you have so many friends and an incredible family. But I'm like, I'm alone in my own head, like in my own
The
thoughts.
difference between loneliness and feeling alone, right?
Yeah, just
That's
like, I don't know, allowing myself to almost alienate myself because I'm so scared to talk about things because I feel like people do look up to me, but like, this is what they want to see, that we're all in this together.
absolutely. I
So
think we're
I
doing
feel
a
like,
disservice too to kids if we just pretend like, oh, this doesn't affect me. This is fine. You know, totally normal to be bullied. But what's so great about your work too is what I was going to say is whoever wrote that to me or whoever wrote "fuck you, Maya" on walls is just suffering probably 10 times more than I am.
yeah, it's true.
And I didn't want to engage with this person because I don't normally want to engage with these kinds of people, but because of the work that we do, it really forces me to look at what they're going through, maybe in their personal lives, or just the hatred that must go on within to feel the need to put people down.
Totally. Hurt
And it
people.
sounds like a no-brainer, of course. People hurt
But
because
look at
they're
that.
hurt, but
That probably brought you back to like your middle school years and just, you know, what people were saying about you then. And it doesn't, like we've been saying, it doesn't discriminate. You felt something back then. And on a comment on Instagram, you know, as women, it still affects us. But I love that you said that, because that is literally why I got into Buddha bullying, was because I was playing a bully. And I finally saw, because I was bullied a bit in high school. I'm not going to make this huge thing of it, but I for sure like have eaten lunch and like my lunches in bathroom stalls, and just girls were very cruel. And I like had my fair share. And I just think, like, for me, it was about showing all sides of the spectrum, because I was playing this bully and I saw that she was so broken, you know, her in this show, like, you know, I was on Make It or Break It at the time. And even though it was at the formerly ABC Family, like, it was pretty intense content. Like, her mom had abandoned the family for drugs and alcohol. She was an addict. And the dad was like just so pressurizing, like just expected so much of this girl, and she was lashing out to all her friends. So, like, you know, like you're saying, it's not just the people. Like, it's very important for us as an organization to reach out to the bullied, the bully, the bystanders, because, like,
and I feel I've most definitely, or not most definitely, but maybe subconsciously been a bully to someone else. I've for sure been a bully to myself, but
Oh, wow. Yeah.
you know, I wouldn't be surprised if I've said something that's really hurt someone or impacted someone, and I'm not above it, is
Right.
what I'm trying to say. I think we've all been bullied, and the bully.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Everyone, it's very normal. I'm not going to sit here and like preach that I'm a saint, because I'm not. Like, I for sure am Buddha bullying hardcore. Like, I'm all about combating bullying and intolerance and hate. But like, at the end of the day, sometimes we pass judgments and it's not okay, but like, it humanizes us. And it's just about, making sure that we understand them, obviously, but then also sharing it with children and our youth, that like, you don't realize how much like that one little thing you say might put someone over the edge. You don't know, because you don't know what they're going through at home.
No, and honestly, even as we have to forgive the fact that we were all children. It's such a growing process. I remember now this story of me. My sister would sing, and I'll never forget that time I yelled at her and said, "Shut up." And honestly, I can't believe I'm revealing this because it's embarrassing, but I never forgot just how I was so mean in that moment. And I was probably going through something really rough, but I remember just maybe 5 years ago, I told my sister, I was like, you really should sing. I still remember that time I told you to shut up that one time you were singing. And it really meant a lot to her. She was like, oh, well, I don't know, singing's not my thing. And I was like, no, I think it is your thing.
Isn't that so crazy how we hold on to these things?
Yeah, and I held on to it just as much, do you know what I mean, as the person that, I think it's a form of bullying, what I did,
I mean, and you didn't, obviously, like, you weren't trying to be this malicious, evil human, but like, yeah, I love, there's so many stories out now. I love them so much. There was one that just like came out not long ago on BuzzFeed, but of past scenarios where someone had bullied someone and them confronting each other in person like 10 years later or whatever it may be. And I'm just like bawling my eyes out watching these people like hug each other and cry to each other and just like explain how hurt they've been knowing that they did that to this person for like 10 years. They're like, as much as that hurt you, I've been thinking about it all this time. And the person's like, you did? Like, that affected me so much at 12 years old. And like, never did I think 10 years later I'd be sitting down with you and this is something that like really hurt you as well. And that's why I love doing these types of things and having
it's so beautiful. And honestly, I have one friend from high school that used to bully me, and she's probably the only person from high school that I still talk to, one of. And then same thing with a friend from college that, bullied me in some form. And she also we became friends, via phone because she's in Connecticut, but she has a family but we don't, that's the thing. We're growing. It's a different thing when it happens as adults, right? That's a different form of it's bullying.
Definitely, I mean, and still a lot of times people are lashing out because they're going through something, but like, I think at this point we're a bit smarter than that to know. And like, if something does happen, like, or if you do lash out, I feel like immediately what you have to do to fix it. As to when you're little, you're like, I don't know, you're just not in that place. You're not an adult. You don't know how to necessarily confront something and fix the situation or the issue. Whereas like, I mean, I'm not perfect at this age, just turned 30. And I'm sure I sometimes like lash out, or I'm going through something and I say something to like a best friend or a family member, nothing crazy, but like, I know immediately to say, hey, I'm so sorry. Today's been a day. I have deadlines and I've been on emails all day, or I'm just stressed out. But when you're young, you are learning and you don't know. So, I mean, I love those stories. And I think like, we're just so grateful to have you as an ambassador.
I'm so grateful. I'm honestly, I love this work that you're doing, and I'm just happy to be a part of it. Truly.
Absolutely. We are very grateful. And I love this next question because this is something that you and I both deal with. So I love that we can get relatable here for a minute, or that we can relate to each other for a minute. I also want to hear your coping mechanisms. I know I kind of know about one of them, but I would love for you to tell everyone a little bit more about your anxiety and your OCD and when it started and how you cope with it. Because I actually want to know for myself too.
No, for sure. I think I I was born an anxious child. Honestly, I really was. My mom will tell you that just in terms of eating, in terms of love, I needed to feel loved. I was a very needy child, and it is what it is.
Nothing wrong
Like,
with being needy.
yeah, and it just is what it is. But it was tough growing up with severe OCD for sure. It would take me up to 2 hours to get into bed, and because I just had so many rituals, I was really shy, and I was in therapy, I think, from the age of 9 till 25, and I would still go to therapy now just because I think it's such important work that can be
Absolutely.
done there. But the things that I've noticed that have worked for me the best, uh, honestly, have been in the last 10 years, and I'm beyond grateful that I found them. And first of all, I started meditating, doing transcendental meditation when I was about 23. And that definitely transformed my life. Just meditating 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes in the afternoon, I had so much self-hatred, and there were so many voices in my head that just were so mean, basically. And the quiet time that I had during TM just made me feel more centered, and made me realize truly who I was. I think I just recently actually talked about it in a podcast. I feel like in a lot of ways I was living a lie. I was trying to please people and just be whatever people wanted me to be.
Wow.
And I had no idea who I was, and I felt like a complete fraud. And this has gone on actually till fairly recently, where I've felt like a fraud in many different areas of my life. I just felt like I wasn't really speaking my truth. And I know that TM had a lot to do with me transitioning into who I really am.
Yeah.
But it was a process. And then just 8 years ago, I found gratitude. And I've been practicing gratitude every single day for about half an hour. Yeah, for the last 8 years.
Wow.
I started with the Magic book by Rhonda Byrne. And I've always been sort of nervous to share it with people, just because it can sound very foo-foo, and she practices gratitude and she's all hippity, she has no emotions, she's a robot. And it's not that at all. I still cry all the time, I still get angry, but it's definitely a routine. It's sort of, in the podcast I called it my superpower, because my OCD just turned into something that could really help me.
Right. Wow, that's so incredible. Because I'm one of those people too, where like I don't feel like, well, I guess I kind of do feel like a fraud, if I'm being honest, because I do also want to, whoever I'm in a room with or whoever I'm engaging with, I always want to feel like I'm a part of their world, or I'm fascinating to them, or I'm like enough for them. So I find myself, and I'm also very good at making it seem, I feel like I'm submerged or into that. Like I'm good at seeming like I'm into whatever these people are into, whoever it may be, like, because I want to feel accepted and wanted. And because I also love people. So I want to feel like we have some type of connection. And,
I can relate.
And I've been wanting to, and I've always practiced gratitude, but I have kind of been all over the place with it. Like I start and then I stop and then I start and then I stop. And I think that has a little bit to do with OCD, because when you're OCD, like it's got to be like it's like almost all or nothing.
Yeah.
It has to be perfect. So if I don't have this amount of time with this moment and I'm sitting under this umbrella or whatever it may be, like if it doesn't feel right, like I almost just like, I'm like, whatever, I'll do it tomorrow, and I put it off, whatever it may be. Like not just gratitude journaling, but like that's something that I would really like to commit to, because I am a little bit all over the place, and I'm really trying to right now in my life prioritize my time and what I truly want, opposed to just doing things for everyone else always. But gratitude is something that I've always been a big fan of. Like I literally sign off like my emails with gratitude. Like it's something that has always spoken to me.
Really?
Like The Secret was like the first documentary like I ever watched, and I know that that's more of like a little, maybe some people say a little more commercialized, I get it, but like still it spoke to me as a teenager when I first saw it. And I love gratitude. So that's something that I really would like to be doing every day, and like drop it needing to be like
perfect.
And even you, like, even if I start with 5 minutes, just to start, because I know that you're doing this incredible work, and that's what I should be doing. But like you just get 5 minutes in, damn it, because it's so important.
Honestly, the thing that I've learned just recently almost is the more imperfect, the better.
Yeah.
And it's same with just putting yourself out there. Honestly, I've put content out there on Instagram where I'm like, but it's not perfect, and I need this or that, or it's just, and honestly, as long as it's out, as long as you do it,
yeah,
that's what matters. Perfection is the killer of all things, really.
It really is, and especially for people who have OCD, because like little things matter so much to us. And at the end of the day, like, I would not rather be putting all these things off that are important to me because they're not perfect. I'd rather just do them sloppily and feel like, okay, I'm proud that I did them.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, even with like the meditation, remember, like I used to think like, oh my God, I can't do this. I came to my first workshop with you at your house, the Soul Shift. And I remember sitting there and just, I was like, I can't do this. And I came to find that like what I was doing, and kind of like I was actually kind of further along than I had thought, remember? So, and now this has been a really big part of my life ever since then. And even if I'm not doing it perfectly, which I've found out there is no perfect way necessarily, but like, even if my mind goes off, but I bring it back, or even if I only got 10 minutes this morning or whatever, like I still feel so proud just to know like I've stuck with it. You know what I mean?
And what we forget is that we're doing this so that it feels good.
I know. Oh my God, it's so true.
It needs to be perfect, and meanwhile you're like, crap, it's not even fun, or you feel like, I didn't do it right, so I guess I'll feel like crap for the rest of the day, instead of just enjoying the fact that you're doing gratitude, you're grateful.
So true. That's so much to do with just being present, which is what having gratitude and what meditating are both all about, is being present. And here I am like, am I going to do it perfect today? Like, but that's not what matters, because that means I'm thinking about it and I'm not in the moment.
Yeah.
So I absolutely love that. So meditation, and obviously a whole nother level, transcendental meditation and the gratitude journaling. I'm going to start gratitude journaling every day, even if it's 5 minutes.
Right. Exactly. It doesn't have to be this strenuous practice that just gets you exhausted, and then you're just like, I don't want to be grateful.
Literally, that's not what it's about. You're so right. You're so right. And it's like, these things are so easy to comprehend, yet like you forget about them when you're in
right there with, I'm not above it. Even after 8 years of practicing it every day, some days I have my gratitude journal right here. And some days I'm really just like, I don't want to do this. Don't make me do this. But I always do feel better once I do it.
Well, anything that you're getting out of your body, and either just out into the world vocally or out via pen and paper, is better than letting it sit inside. So that is amazing. This next question is a heavy one, but it's one of my favorites. What is your biggest insecurity, and and what do you do, or what do you want to start doing to tackle it?
Oh, my biggest insecurity.
And I have like a ton, but
no, I know exactly. Me too.
One for me, I'm
obviously, there's
whatever it may be.
Because I was going to say there's physical insecurities, but then there's emotional ones, and I think my biggest insecurity there's two, but I think the biggest one is not being lovable.
Oh, how? See how crazy this is when you say these things out loud? Like, that breaks my heart, because you literally are the most like magnetic person, and anytime anyone's in a room with you, they're like, Maya. So I'm like, how can you feel this way? But we do.
Yeah, I think for me, it's just, especially now that I'm being so much more truthful about who I am and being so much more honest, and I'm imperfect a lot of times. I still lie on certain things, or aren't fully me at times, or inauthentic, but I'm now, in the last few months or the last year, that I'm really doing my best to put myself out there. It's just, the risk becomes so huge of feeling like, well, that's just not going to be enough.
So, I'm so happy you shared that with me, and I still don't get it, but here's the thing. I respect it so much because I completely get it. Like, I feel sometimes unlovable too and unworthy. And one of my words on my back, again, when we did this Unleash campaign this time, because I was really trying to be honest, it was body issues. It was alone. It was not worthy. Like, I feel you. It's just so strange because as an outsider, this is why I love having these conversations, because I love for people to see, like, you're not alone in feeling these things. Like, so many people feel that way. And it blows my mind because I think you're just such an easy person to love. Like, you exude so much like kindness and warmth. People who know me know, like, I like to compare things to just very simply as warm and cold. Like, something feels warm and something feels cold. And you were like so warm. Like, your energy is just like a heat wave. Like, it is so much warm energy. And like, I know even you feel like certain things about you, like you're being this fraud, but I get that because it comes from such a place of love, because if you think about it, you're just wanting to please people.
I just want to be loved. That's the whole point. And I think if I love myself, I'll be more loved. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. And so if I'm fully myself, authentically myself, and someone says, no, I still love you as you are, I'm like, something must be wrong with you. You're crazy. Yeah.
I hope you know how incredibly loved you are, but I understand that I've dealt with that too. Like, mainly like,
and you, gosh, that can happen to you.
Yes. Yeah. But see, this is what we do. Like, I feel the same exact way. And it's like why I build walls, and it's why I like wind up self-sabotaging and sabotaging good things, because I don't feel like enough, or I feel unlovable, or I feel not worthy, or not this or that. And it's like, it's just so crazy that we do this to ourselves. But the truth is, like, you can't be everything and everyone. And it's about finding people who just like love the things that you are. You don't have to like reach out and act like you're this person or act like you're that person. And like, I'm literally talking to myself, by the way. I do this.
Yeah.
You probably did this today. Like, I'm just like, yeah, I can be that girl, and I can be like,
oh my goodness. Absolutely. I'm doing it now recently, just, in dating someone new. You just often things like, you just think, whoa, why do you like me? I just told you something really deep and personal, and you're still around. And that person's like, oh, it's going to take a lot more to scare me. And that's just amazing. It's so good, because versus me trying to put on a show or play a character or whatever to be loved, you're just, like, wow, it's that easy. Okay.
When it feels like it's that easy, that's probably a good one for you. Probably the person you should be hanging out with. Like, I really sometimes think back, and it's crazy to me how long I like played into these like characters in the past. And like, I've really tried to let that go recently as well. And I'm really proud of myself because I've come a long way, but I have a very long way to go. But yeah, like, it's just so crazy that we do that. And how do you feel like recently that you've coped with that? Like, or are you still trying to find the proper ways? Or,
the one way that I've coped with it, and it's maybe not, I have made peace with the fact that I will be scared, be anxious. That is who I am. I get terrified to put myself out there. I really do. Even posting on Instagram, I get such anxiety, and maybe this is embarrassing, but I don't care. It's the truth. I get such anxiety putting myself out there, but I'll never let that stop me.
Good. Yeah.
So as long as I know that, as long as it's not something that will ever get in my way.
Yeah.
It may be something that will mobilize me or put me in deep pain and deep distress, but I'll still press the button, and I'll still speak up, and I'll still do it.
Right. So basically, at the end of the day, no matter what you might be feeling, it's being like your own warrior, just sticking up for yourself and saying, as uncomfortable as this might be about to feel, like, bitch, you're going to love yourself, and you're going to prove that you are lovable, and you're going to put that out there because you had fun doing it, and like, live in the moment. And it might scare the hell out of you. For me, you might like actually not be able to sleep at times. I've like posted things and like have questioned it have to see
Really?
like,
Oh, that feels so good here. Well, I just want to feel alone.
should I archive that? Oh no, like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so just no one cares,
No.
honestly.
And
No.
the more that you don't care, people feel that. Like if you're like, I don't give a fuck, I'm gonna put this out. I like it. People feel that. They're like, what a bad bitch. Like,
Yes.
like
Yes.
think about it. Think about people out. Think of like someone like a Lizzo. Like
Oh,
she doesn't give a shit. She is so body confident. And even when she's not, like she's so honest about it, but like
right.
she talks so much on that and I love that. And like she's just I don't know, I'm thinking
So
about
sexy too.
so sexy and
Yeah.
like just people like someone like a Cardi B. Like if that was me, if I was just like spilling all my emotions, I don't know why.
Oh my,
Like,
can you I've thought about that too. I was like,
people, I in my head, I think people would be like, but if I really just did it and people felt that I didn't give a
I
shit,
think it's good.
they'd be
I
like,
support it. I support it 100%.
tomorrow I come out with some crazy rant. You're like, ooh, that was my fault. I told her to do it.
No, no, never. Because honestly, if it's you, people feel it. People
100%.
people see it. They get it. They can smell the bullshit, and
They really can. People can feel it. It's so true. And
yeah.
I love that came up because that's something that I so like, I don't know. I think we have a lot of things in common. That's why I probably, but yeah, it's so much about self-love for sure. That's number one. But like that word can make people think like, sounds very textbooky to people, but it's so true. Like self-love literally means like acceptance, and that's the period, point, period, blank. It's just accepting everything you are and not giving a shit.
Yeah.
And like nothing bad can stem from that. Cause like if people don't feel like you can be swayed, they're not even gonna try to take the time to sway you. And this goes more for younger kids. Like I remember kids growing up that like just being so authentically themselves and like me being like, oh my God, if I was ever like that. But the truth is if I was, I'd get the same praise they were getting. And I would be upset and be like, they're acting out or being loud. They're the class clown, but everyone loves them. But you want to know why? Because they were so authentically themselves. And I was always like, I'm not funny, or I can't be this, or I can't be that girl. I'll be judged. But if I just didn't care, I wouldn't be judged. So I love that. And I'm so happy that you shared that, because I think anybody watching this would be like, how in the world can someone like that feel that way? But it's
oh my God.
being
Back at you, girl. Back at you.
So I love you and thank you so much for opening up about that. I've been asking a lot of people this question, or I asked the past two a lot. I've been asking a lot of people. I asked the last two girls this question instead of like an influencer.
I love it.
A lot of people have been asking about my skincare routine. Does the time you spend scrolling on social media make you feel better or worse? If better, how can we all begin to start using it as a more optimistic tool? If worse, how do you feel that you or we can change this as a society?
Wow. Scrolling on Instagram, huh? You know, it's interesting. First of all, do you have this where you just think, if these three people didn't exist on my Instagram, or couldn't see my Instagram, or I couldn't see theirs, my life would be so much better?
Sure, because you put up these standards and like it's pleasing.
No, but it's honestly, it's more for me. It's more judgment coming towards me. It's not me judging them.
Yeah.
So that's not really the
those two.
But that's social media. Like if I knew that, for instance, one ex or one friend or whatever, they weren't on there, I'd feel so free to be more of myself. But it's just like knowing that they're gonna watch it, you're like, oh. So I have that with social media.
Those people.
Well, but that's the thing. They don't deserve to be blocked, but it's I need to free myself. I know it's within me. So I just wanted to say that about social media. But as far as scrolling goes, then that's why I don't know about you, but I really choose who I follow. I don't follow 10,000 people, and I get shit for it, I think, because I don't follow back certain people. But what really helps, or I found out now that you can actually just mute certain people.
Mm-hmm.
But I really try to have my feed be all things that people that put out content that really inspires me, aka yours, or just that make me feel good. And I would say with social media, that's definitely not my issue. The scrolling of people's feeds, that doesn't make me feel worse or bad or better. It's really just, I've chosen what to follow, and I've chosen what I want. It's sort of like a vision board, right? Because it's
Yeah.
the thing you almost look at the most is your blooming phone, right? So, my screenshot, my lock screen is something that I want to manifest. So is my other screen. And then same
Ooh,
with,
that is good advice. I mean, I
yeah,
have pieces and I love them, but that's really good advice to put something that you want to manifest.
right. And same with the people that I follow. I feel they're all people that truly inspire me, or they're, causes that I care about, and, or just friends that are just awesome and cool and different. And I have friends from all different walks of life. I really do. I mean, I have a best friend on Skid Row, and I have a best friend that's a millionaire. It doesn't matter, but that's I think the cool thing that can connect us all is just is Instagram. And I think the more the world will share true content, and I don't know about if it's the quarantine that's happening or whatnot, but it's getting a lot more real.
I do see that. I've actually been seeing this trend for, I want to say like the past like 6 months, but the quarantine has definitely amplified it.
Yeah,
Like, I
whether it's a
love
cap, I
this.
mean, I'm still gonna post one hot pic every now and then to
Of
feel good
course.
about myself, but
You damn should.
and right back at you. And you make people feel good with a hot pic every now and then, as long as you can also then, switch it up and just be real, or put
Or
in your caption something that you're going through or whatever it is. But I
balance.
I'm just curious about you. How do you feel about scrolling?
Um, I love that you asked that. And you know what, everybody, I just said it again. Literally, I've had 3 people do this.
So all those people, all them people.
I'm manifesting big things for this
Yes, you're gonna have
for
plenty
this
of
B2B
people
one-on-one
coming to
series.
the show.
Um, okay. So Suede, who's only 18 years old, God bless her, I think maybe 19 now. She just had her birthday, I believe. She said that, and I was so impressed. I mean, like, not that she's a child, but I was like, wow, thank you. Because she was like, look, I follow Gary Vee, and I follow this inspirational speaker, and I follow this person. And she's like, I'm very choosy about who I follow because that's what I'm scrolling through. And that actually has been a big problem of mine. I've followed a lot of people back, or have followed people out of just wanting them to feel like being a
Right.
people pleaser, being a people pleaser. And
No, I mean, I still have those people that I
I
follow.
have so many, and like I go through it, and I'll do this thing where I'm like, maybe they somehow unfollowed me, and I won't feel bad to unfollow. And I always go to
Or
who's
just
following.
mute them.
I see them, and I'm like, oh. But the truth is, I feel like it's more like explore pages even that like probably mess me up because I don't follow that many people that I would like. I follow pretty good accounts. I follow like great friends and inspirational people and inspirational accounts and um, film accounts and vintage accounts and things that do excite me. But I think probably overall, I would like to think it makes me feel a little worse than better. I would like to think that just because when you're in an industry like ours, it's so up and down. And sometimes it is hard for me to see, and not that I'm not proud or happy for people, but it's sometimes just hard for me to see even like E! News announce something that I'm just would want more than anything in the world. Not E, but like Filmwire or IndieWire or like, yeah. So I feel like for me, I hate that it is a little bit negative, but it is. And maybe sometimes it's a little fire under my ass that I need though, because it makes me realize step it up. I'm a hard because I am that a person who loves feeling like I'm working hard, and it does make me do that when I see these like young girls like killing the game, and I'm just like shit, and they're like booking things or like putting up dance videos, and I'm a dancer, and I'm like I need to be doing more of this. But
truth is, you don't need to be doing. And that's the thing, we put so much pressure, right, on doing all those things, especially now that we have time. It's like, well, I should be doing this, and I should be catching up all my reading or on all my journaling or on all the things that I'm good at. And meanwhile, it's like, no, you don't have to do anything right now.
I know.
We think of all the people that are doing so great, but you never think about the people that you're scrolling through that look at you like that.
Yeah.
They look at you, Cassie, and they probably think like, wow, she's so hot. She's got such great dance moves, and she's an actress. She's constantly working. She's, so
music to my ears. Thank you.
No, but you really,
the heat wave.
I had to start looking at it the other way, because I'm so quick to look at other people and just be like, oh, they're so much prettier. They're so much more successful. Yeah. And meanwhile, we don't think about
just everything. Right.
And how much we actually have to be grateful for. And the things that you've aspired to be are the things that you already are, probably. And you just haven't realized it.
It's very true. That is very, very true. And it's nice to hear. But yeah, I think that would be my answer, is that unfortunately I'm very much so working towards it becoming more of a positive. But I think, like with anything in life, it's the yin and the yang. I love being able to connect with people. I love pushing causes that mean a lot to me. I love being able to put up my dance when I get time, or some singing stuff or whatever. But like innately, as a woman in the industry, as a human being, like I do compare myself, or like think I'm not doing enough. So it is starting to go more the other way, because I am trying to look at it more that way. And yeah, but it's, I don't know, crazy. I feel like just, social media is a crazy thing. It's a crazy thing. I have so many feelings towards it, negative and positive, and that would be a whole like episode on its own. But
it really could be, because there's so many people that struggle. I have conversations.
Okay, good. It's still recording. Sorry. I just wanted to make sure it still was.
Good. No, I have conversations with people like that all the time. And I feel there's so many different ways to have issues with it. My issue is not scrolling, but my issue is posting, or my own Instagram. That's an issue, or that feels very heavy. But, so, and everyone else, like I'll talk to my friend and she's constantly, maybe stalking other people, or, going through their feeds and really going in deep. And it's just like an hour later, she's still looking at this old lady who has no relation to her. And she's like, what? So
the rabbit hole of social media.
Yeah, that's not my issue. But my rabbit hole is maybe having a sleepless night over a post that I'm going to post, which is, what?
Dude, I'm both. So God bless me. I'm both. I'm like anxious about the shit I'm posting. I'm anxious looking at other people's things and not thinking of enough. So like, and honestly, at the end of the day, what I'm learning too is just like laughing about things like this and talking about them is really all that I need. I just need to be like, wow, I'm a little out of my mind sometimes when it comes to this social media thing. Like, it's okay.
Totally. I feel you. It is laughable. It's great. It's great that we can talk about it and be so honest about it.
Absolutely. So my last question, I've gotten two very different answers, and I've asked myself, I've actually been asked this multiple times, and I always give a different answer too, but I love this question. So my last question for you, my dear, would be, what would you tell your younger self, younger Maya, at any age, whatever age you choose?
Ooh, what would I tell younger Maya? Oh, just keep having fun. Mm-hmm. Just keep having fun. And it's okay to care about what people think. That's what makes you you. Mm-hmm. And it'll all be okay. Everything is, when I look back, there's just so many situations I was in, I thought for sure they would mean so much throughout my life. And the thing is, everything's so temporary. It really is. But I just remember like me at my worst thinking like, this is it now. This is my life. And I look back and it's just.
You don't even remember some of the things sometimes. You have to
people remind me, have you heard from this person that was like, maybe just like one of my biggest bullies? And I'm like, wait, am I supposed to hate them? What happened? I can't even, But just that everything is temporary, to keep having fun, because I think we grow older and we forget. I'm a bit sort of like you, where I'm more on the workaholic side, where I feel like everything needs to be done so perfectly, and otherwise something will happen. I mean, that's our OCD, right? But just, and I think I am. I'm bringing back the goofy right now. I'm bringing back the dork that I am, and that's okay. That's cool. Like it's cool to be unique and different,
Totally.
and so yeah, and just it's okay to be you. You know, I just came out being bisexual in that podcast, and if I could tell my younger self that like that's awesome. No one cares. It's great.
No one. Like it means nothing else. If anything, it's like there's so many people that just wish they can say that because so many people feel that way. People are people.
Yeah, I love all people, and that's, you know, and that's great. More people to love, and just, yeah,
I'm so
someone will
proud of
love
you.
it
It's
for
so
you.
cool.
Thanks.
Because I remember you were talking about this a little bit in the soul shift about how
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
very hard to talk about. And I'm like,
Oh,
why? That's so cool.
it's just been, yeah, it's just, I guess, been
Girl.
such a struggle from, you know, where I grew up, or, you know, you think of your conservative friends and how they're going to react to everything. But at the end of the day, it's just, if they're not going to react to you being you, then they're not people you want to hang out with. They're not your friends. They're not, yeah, you just want to be
The
free.
words like conservative and all and words like conservative, I don't know, it's a weird thing for me
It's a closed word, right? It's a very,
because like yeah, because there are people that I know that have certain maybe like morals or beliefs or religious beliefs or beliefs in politics, but like even the most conservative people that I know that have those kinds of beliefs, like if you're just a solid, good human, like you can resonate on that human level. So for me, I'm like, those are just people that aren't willing to be open-minded. Because even the most conservative people I've known have been able to be a human. Like
yeah.
conservative person, I know you have your shit too, or not even that's not shit, but like I know you have your own things about you.
Right.
And
And
so I think that's just like, I think at the end of the day, there's just like understanding people and people that just aren't.
no, and that's the thing. I've been so amazed and surprised. Props to all my friends and my family who have just been like, yeah,
Love who
still
you
love
want to
you.
love. Who
You know?
cares?
Yeah, and but that's just sort of who you want to attract anyway. If anyone out there is struggling with, I'm scared that if I say this, or that if I'm really me and share this big secret, they're not going to love me. But at the end of the day, I mean, that's just the whole point. Like, you should be able to say all these things, and the people that surround you should be those people that are accepting you just as you are.
No matter what their label is what I was like kind of trying to like
Right.
explain, but it just doesn't matter. Like if you have a good heart, whatever you are, whatever you've believed in, whether you have those same feelings or believe in the same things or not, like just respecting somebody, like that's just makes life a lot easier. I just wish like that was just instilled in
I
us as human beings
know.
to just respect everybody. It would
I
make
know. And if you have
everybody so
nothing
much
nice
happier.
to say, don't say it. Like, if you have nothing nice to say, then it's okay to just
And I think it's just for
not
the most
troll.
part people who hurt people. It's just people who are going through something and they want to feel like maybe more accepted than the other person, or like they're not this outcast, so let me like bring up something about this person. It's just, and it's sad. It's like you were saying, you know, how you got this really mean feedback, unnecessary feedback that's so ridiculous on one of your pictures, which you posted most beautiful pictures, and you were just like, what's going on with them? And if we could just all look at life that way, like the
Right.
world would truly be a better place.
Totally. And yeah, and it's okay to care too. You know,
It's
it's okay
actually fucking great to care.
that it hurts a little, you know. I mean, and you've had that too, like just where you're at in your success, and you're following, like maybe people have said bad things to you, and they think that it wouldn't affect you because you have so many nice comments, but it's the few ones that are just mean that you'll like hold on to and think about
I
later.
can totally, like, if I wanted to, I'm not going to get into that, but like I can think of 5 off the top of my head that like have hurt me in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Things that people have said. But I think at the end of the day, it's having fun. It's not taking everything so seriously. And it's like, hey, if I know who I am, like if I accept the good, the bad, and the ugly, like no one else can say shit to me. Like I'm solid, I'm good, I'm grounded, like I know who I am, and that is literally all that matters at all. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely working on that. I think that's something that will probably, for the most part, people, I think we're always going to be a student in that aspect of just like continuously just reminding ourselves like how much we love each other, how much we love ourselves, and how much we accept ourselves. But from there, like nothing anyone says matters because you know like who you are, you know? But sometimes it does, and I have to remind myself of that.
I know. If we could just, we'll just keep playing that on repeat.
Yeah, literally, that's like my mantra of the week.
I know you've recorded it, so I want that piece, please.
Yes, I'm like, and I'm sorry if my eyes are like continuously going like this. I've never recorded on here.
No, I honestly, I'm so glad you've said that because I keep going back from you to me because of the square thing.
I know.
So people will probably think that I'm super vain checking myself out, which, you know, it is what it is.
It's natural. I've definitely a couple times put my hair and looked at how I was looking moment.
No, and have you ever had that FaceTime? You can totally delete this, but on FaceTime where you're just totally checking yourself out because you just.
No, I'm not going to delete this. This is something I totally. Well, no, I do it. I'm the worst with FaceTime. Like I am. Like I hate how insecure I come off. I'm actually the opposite. I'm always like, oh God, this is the worst angle.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. I'm like, am I okay? It's not like, ooh, I look so good. Let me check myself out. It's more like, okay, like, let me find better lighting. Let me.
I'm like positioning myself, like higher angles. Like I'm like, let's go on FaceTime at 5 because I know like golden hour. Like I'm so ridiculous because I can't focus and I hate that about myself. I'm like, I don't hate it. I don't like it about myself that I do that, but I do. I care so much and it's annoying. I want to not.
It's okay because look at us. We're the same. Like maybe there's more of us out there, you know?
I am that girl. I actually like have kind of been talking to someone, whatever. And I was FaceTiming them, I think yesterday or 2 days ago. And I like legit put like, I think like the mouse on my face. You know, you can like put like the animals on your face. You can do that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just can't be FaceTiming right now. So if you want to stay on FaceTime, like it's going to be an animal. And like, I was straight up like some koala bear or something. Cause I was just like, I'm not going to pay attention if it's me. Cause I'm going to be looking at that damn stupid screen being like,
yeah,
like whatever it may be.
And I feel you. And I'm sure we're not alone. I
hope not. No, definitely not. But thank you so much for opening up. You know how much I love you and
I love you. You're so beautiful and wonderful and amazing. And I mean, we have so much in common, so I can't be that bad.
You are not bad at all. And if you are, then I'm worse. So I hope you're not. Because that's just me.
I know we're like soul twins.
We are, and I've always felt that way about you. I love you so much. I'm so grateful you came on. This is going to move so many people because they're going to be like, what? If that girl feels that way, then it's okay. Like, we're all just okay. We're just human beings having this, you know, spiritual experience, and it's not going to always be perfect. And I loved your honesty and just opening up your heart for me and for Buddha Bullying. It means the world. So I love you.
I'm so grateful for you. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I love you. And yeah. You're amazing.
Well, we'll talk soon.
Yes.
Catch up. We'll catch up on like other non-Buddha bullying things.
Yes, please.
Girl talk.
Yes.
Sounds good, babe. I'm gonna hang up the recording now, or stop. I don't know how this works. I'm gonna stop the recording. But thank you so much.